Hi, my lovely friends. It's Rachel Archelaus here, and today I want to talk about something that I've been referring to a lot lately, and it's that your higher self is what's creating your reality completely, fully. You're kind of just the passenger on this ride of life, and knowing your place, so to speak, is really important to working the process and to getting your life going a lot more smoothly and where you want it to be going. And so I'm going to actually discuss more of the how of that today. And I'm going to be talking a lot about rearranging your power. And we all have heard, in the law of attraction and manifestation that we have these limiting beliefs, right? These limiting beliefs, these abstract beliefs, right? They're out there somewhere, or in here somewhere. That is what is not allowing us to get the money or the new job or the new person or the whatever it is that we want. It's the limiting beliefs. It's our subconscious that's keeping us from this. And in a way, we can almost feel like a victim of our own subconscious because we're putting even more power into the fact or the thought or the belief that there is this thing called a limiting belief, and it's in there, and it's keeping me from what I want. And the problem with that is that we don't really know how to get rid of it, right? Like, there are lots of different ways that people say we can get rid of it. Tapping with EFT, repetition, affirmations, reading, wealth consciousness books over and over again. There's that repetition thing again. Meditation, lots and lots of different things. I could go on and on. But how often does it work? How often do you do it and do it and do it and do it and just miraculously see changing? Some people may see changes some places, but normally it's not in everywhere. Normally it's not the whole shebang, And so today I really want to talk about what I use, the method that I use to get rid of those beliefs and blocks that we all talk about. But I also want to say that I see it really simply. Okay, so our higher self, our expanded self, is calling all the shots. It's kind of allowing us to have the experience that we're having. And because we are indoctrinated from youth and we come in with certain things that we want to accomplish and want to see and maybe feel limitations of, we are the ones programming all this too, in concert with our higher self. We set up a certain amount of power to limit ourselves. I know that doesn't make sense so much because when we're actually consciously here, we're like, why would we want to do that? But anyway, we put power outside of us, outside of the idea that our higher self creates everything. And we say, that'll never happen to me. I don't deserve that. That's not going to work for me. And then we go about our lives, and we may be able to chip away at that a little bit, but we're never really scooping it all out, right? We're never really clearing the bulk of it, because normally we're like chipping, and some of it will get removed and we'll have a little bit of success, but then we're like, oh, it doesn't work, and we stop. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. And so when I started doing a lot of emotional clearing work, which I've given you guys videos on before, which is where you jump into the feeling and you let the feeling, whatever it is, whatever discomfort is there, overwhelm you. If you're feeling nervous before giving a talk or a class, then you say, okay, I'm nervous. I am going to let myself feel nervous because of course I'm nervous. And if you can, you just take a moment and just feel. Close your eyes, really get into the feeling and feel it for yourself. Just let it take over. And then eventually it'll get big enough to where it almost feels like you are the feeling. It's going to, feel overwhelming, but then in that instant it will transform into really just raw, usable energy. Life force energy. It'll just feel a rush of exhilaration. And that is now the precursor to what I do to chip away and scoop away all of those limitations and all of the power that I put outside of me. So now instead of continuing to put the power outside of me, like, that will never happen to me, I can never have that, that's, you know, not for me. Now I'm taking that all back, reclaiming the power, merging with my higher self so that I am the one creating everything, so that it's a co-creation, and it's working, and it's grand, and it's wonderful, and I cannot take all of the credit either. Not that, you know, there's really no credit. We're all kind of doing this intertwining, so it's a wonderful thing when you finally see that everything is the same. Everything is the same. Everything is the same. And so the books that I've read recently by Robert Scheinfeld, Busting Loose from the Money Game, Busting Loose from the Business Game, and I believe The Ultimate Key to Happiness is his third book. I've read them all now, and he's just brilliant. He's very clear in all this, and it's he added to what I was doing before. So when you're feeling any kind of limitation or discomfort, which would be the sign of you having a limiting belief, then all you do is you do that emotional thing. You jump into the discomfort. Okay, jump in there and let it go, transform you. But then at the peak, instead of just letting it naturally transform into that usable energy, what you do is you just, you know, assert yourself. I am the creator of my reality, which you are, and I am taking my power back from this limitation. That's all. And then once you have done that, you kind of feel in your body, you'll feel that transformation, you'll feel that energy turn into something usable and wonderful, and then you just let yourself appreciate and love what you've done. You know, you really open up your heart space, connect with it, and let that feeling of love in for all that you've created. Everything just as it is. Just as it is, you love and open your heart to. You know, that feeling of gratefulness. It goes a long way, because if you're judging your situation now, you're not going to find it easy to change it. If you accept and love what you have right now, because remember, you created everything out of love, there really is no bad. So appreciate everything just as it is, because you created it, and then it'll be a lot easier to drain the power from what is limiting you. Okay, so for those steps again, just watch this little clip again. I hope this makes sense to you. I really, really hope that you'll start to take your power back from your limitations, because there are no real limitations. You are an unlimited, absolutely brilliant being, and I just love to play with brilliant beings. So keep on doing it. Keep on coming back here for more inspiration and more tips, and I love you very much. Bye.